Hi, Randy here from the Institute for Creative Solutions, sharing foundational concepts about vibrant health through natural living. And I want to tell you about a new study that came out just a day before my own book, that's very much about the same subject. And it was the Washington Post revealed a study that was recently uh, reported in the journal Addiction, and it explains how the tobacco companies between the 80s and the early 2000s used the knowledge they needed, they had learned from the tobacco industry to addict people through their food. And they have notes within the company saying that they were really experts in flavors and that they could use the experience they had had marketing flavored cigarettes and colors and additives into food. So, two of the biggest tobacco companies, R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris, got into the food business. And between 1988 and 2001, there was a huge growth in what they called hyper palatable foods, which they knew would be addictive. High sugar, high refined flour, lots of salt. And when they finally got out of the business, apparently it looks like because they were getting so many suits, so many lawsuits about tobacco and starting to be held accountable for marketing tobacco aggressively, that some of their lawyers said, well, they might come after us for the processed food causing heart disease and other problems too. So they got rid of their businesses. But during that period, those two tobacco companies owned tobacco. Yeah, they owned Nabisco and Kraft Foods and General Foods. And they basically dominated the hot new products on the market, like Lunchables, Hawaiian Punch. That was their first big move. That was even before the 80s. That was in the late 60s. And they realized that if they had the more flavors, the more sales. And they were selling billions of worth of these highly processed foods. And I have chapters in my book about how the food processing industry knows that they are addicting us. And they say, okay, well, the tobacco companies got rid of their food side when they knew they were hurting people and might get caught. But the other companies took on that role of addicting us, of putting lots of salt and refined foods into our foods, sugars and fats, and flavorings and colorings, and they can make flavors that doesn't have to come from blueberries. They have blueberry flavor that's not from blueberries, and so on down the line. And so they make it so that these things go straight into our blood. So we get a kick. And they know that we're going to get a kick and we're going to want more. And they even make the potato chip bags just small enough so you're going to open a second one. So you'll buy more of them and finish that second one most likely. Same with cookies and the little packs of cookies for kids. Oh, your mom throws two of them in the lunchbox. So Hawaiian Punch, Lunchables, Oreos all have all these additives and refined sugars to get to our blood right away. And my book explains that in great detail. It explains why it's taken so long to catch up with the tobacco companies and why we're just starting to catch up with the companies that are giving us herbicides and pesticides into our food. And it's going to take even longer to get the food processors to be held responsible for overweight, diabetes, heart disease, and even some cancers. And the studies in my book show how the ultra-processed foods are directly related to the kinds of diets and the kinds of diseases that we are blaming on genes or heredity or old age. No, it's the bad food. So get a hold of my book. It's on Amazon, The Single Ingredient Diet. And keep listening because I am really staying on top of how to eat well. Thanks.